Okay, awesome. So, yes, I have Bullhorn open. I have the jobs open. So let's do clear all. I am going to sort by branch.
Oh, you haven't shared or shared your screen to me.
Oh, you need to see it too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, today is a day. Okay, so I'm on my jobs. I have all the jobs and ever. I'm gonna go to Las Vegas. Filter for Las Vegas. Let's just look. We only want to look at our open jobs. Okay. And then let's sort by recruiter. Okay. So when you go to Bullhorn and you do it like this, we're going to see any jobs that are from Las Vegas that are open, and it's going to be grouped by recruiter. So let's see first. Let's just look at yours, Linda. So it looks like you have 3 jobs open right now. And my report that I have from Bullhorn, you have 1, 2, 3 jobs. So
Okay.
this is where you would start. So you would go to Bullhorn, you do all those steps I just did, and we can save this search as, and I can show you guys how to do that. You can save it so you don't have to redo all those filters, and we can title it Open Jobs by Recruiter. So you would just click,
cool.
yeah. So then, see, these are my searches I have saved, and when you click on it, it will save the layout as well. So if you want to sort it a certain way to see certain information, you can do that too. More to come on that though. It's a really helpful tool. So anyways, so we have our, like we just said, we looked at my report I sent. You have 3 here and you have the 3 here in Bullhorn. So that's a good start. The next thing we want to do is the reason we created this report, and it hasn't been officially rolled out, but since the job fair is going on next week, we thought it would be a good idea for you guys to start seeing this, is this report essentially will have any open jobs per branch, per recruiter that has information that indicates that it should be closed. Now, I know we're developing our processes, so this might have not been communicated clearly to you guys yet, and I apologize for that. But there's a couple of things that we look at for jobs from an informational standpoint. When a job becomes a placement, we're seeing a lot of incorrect data become a part of that placement record, like start dates and some other things, and it's messing up the placement payroll process. Is essentially what this report is meant to do, is to help you guys manage your jobs that are open. So when you go and create a placement, there's less issues that happen in the back end for making sure our candidates get paid. So the first criteria we look at when we're deciding if we should keep a job open or closed is this age column right here. And what this column tells us is this is how many days this job has been open for. So you can see this job right here has been open for over a year, and it has 6 openings and 0 placements. So I'm going to assume that this job we're not actively recruiting for whatever reason. We don't want it murking up our open job report. We don't want you guys wasting time on this job because it's clearly not that important if it's been open for over a year and has 0 placements. So that is why this has been determined as a criteria for you guys to look at. And what this report will do, and you can see up here, we have our 2 little action icons, is close job records with any fields in blue. So this job, we look at age, it's blue because I have created this report that if any job, it has an age number that's greater than 90 days, we want you guys to close that job. And this is the reason why, is if you guys have a job order and you created it 3 months ago, there's a very good possibility that maybe the contact has changed. Maybe a detail about that job has changed, including the start date is a big thing. We don't want you guys, using a start date from 3 months ago, because even though you'll probably change it in the placement record, 3 months ago, that's a long time, I feel like, for a job to be open. And so 90 days was the kind of line that we determined would be a good idea to start closing jobs, even if they're not filled yet. So what you would do is you would look here, 3-6, it's over a year, it's greater than 90, so it's blue. So I know these 2 jobs need to be closed. I would take this ID number, you copy it just straight from PDF. Then you go over here and you would search it that way as well. Or you can just look at your list. So let's look at yours, Linda. So you have 3 here. 2 of them are blue for just the age. And we'll talk about this column next. But for age only, we see that there's one that has been open for 204 days, one that's been open for 202 days. So I would just copy this or just look, you have them on your two screens. We have the 7732. We just go here, and you can do it a couple ways. The best way would probably be to open it, I would assume, but I don't think you can do it this way. I was hoping you can change status. Nope. Okay. You can do it a couple ways. So you can either do it right here. You change it from open to closed and hit save. Or if you want to look at the job a little bit further, you just open the job record. You can look at the details. What we don't want you guys doing is going into here and then changing all the stuff. And then, because the age date will always stay. We can't change that. That's going to stay the same. So you would go in here. Okay, this job is pretty old, whatever. I'm going to close it. After you close it, right?
So what if we have people that are active and have been approved?
That's okay. If the job is closed and you have active placements, it's not going to change anything. It's simply all it does is say this job is no longer open for people to be filled, is what it's saying. Okay. So you would change it to closed. You should be changing the status to either if it's closed because it's filled, or if it's old, and that's the reason right now. We're going to just say we need to add, and I apologize because this is a new process. We need to add, passed right here. It's a past job because it's 90 days old. We don't want it open anymore. But now say that this job, you still have the client asking you to fill this position. That is perfectly fine. All you have to do is go to actions, make a copy. All the information is going to transfer over. You just need to update specific things. So the start date, this was November. Okay, now the start date is today. So it is 1/6/2022. I update the start date. All this stuff is the same. The status is obviously going to be accepting candidates now because we want this job record open. It's open. Priority is all the same. All this stuff is the same. I'm checking it. I'm making sure. Number of openings, maybe this has changed. Okay, I'm going to put 10 now. I'm just going through here. I'm double checking everything, making sure it's correct. Then I hit save. Now you have your new job record. That took 5 seconds to do? And I've got all my information here still. Now, this job is all the information's the same. We want to make sure the new one is open. So sorry, I don't know why that was. Oh, wait. Was this the old one? No, this is the new one. This is the new one. Yep, because the old one we can see here, was that 7732. Now we have a new job number right here, 7856. So that is why, that's kind of the process. And that's what you guys are going to do with these reports. We're going to hopefully get this rolling out so you guys can see these reports weekly. And you would do this, every week just to start cleaning up jobs. But that is the first criteria that we're looking at. So does the steps make sense on what you would do when you're going to close a job? And if you need that job still open, what do you do then? Do those steps make sense?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, perfect. So now let's continue looking at the report, and I'll explain these things a little bit further. So we went over age as the first criteria. And like I said, I've conditioned this report. So anytime you see age and it's blue, you need to go change that job and close it. This one's green, so I don't want to close it based on age. Now, there is a second criteria for closing a job, and it's placements. So what I've done is on this report, if it's blue, it means that the number of openings and the number of placements match, or the placement number is greater than the number of openings. Why do we want to close this? The reason why is because this job has now been filled. Instead of you going to the job and changing the number of openings, we want you guys to keep that number the same. It should be the same. So like your client contacts you, they say, I have this job open, I have 5 openings. That is what it should remain as. You shouldn't be changing this number because we need to know on a reporting level, okay, whatever company is giving us 10 jobs, in the last month, and we've gotten 50 openings, that's great. If you guys go back and change this number, we won't be able to know that data is correct because it's always changing. And there's, you know what I mean? We want to be able to report on this kind of stuff and see how many openings are we actually getting from our clients? How many of those openings are we closing? And we know that by our number of placements. So here's another example. So this job is one of yours, 7831. Well, it passed the age criteria, so that's great. It still should be active because of its age, But because of the number of openings compared to the number of placements, it's blue because we have 11 placements is greater than the number of openings. So we want to close this job too. So you do the same steps, 7831. You'd go look at Bullhorn, back to my jobs, 7831. And then you would go through that whole process again of closing it and copying it if you needed to. So I would assume that since you're putting more placements on this job than the number of openings that was initially put in, I would assume that you want to keep this job open, and maybe we just need to up the openings. Maybe the client told you it was 2, but you're getting so many, requests for it. Let's just go ahead and create a new job. So we'll close this one, right? We'll close it here. We'll save it. And you can even add let's see, where's the other status? And I can help you create a saved list like this if you think that'd be helpful. We can see that job, and we can also update the status here. Does that make sense? So we could update, where did it go? This accepting candidates, you could change the status right here to filled, because this job would now be filled. And I changed the status, so it's not going to show up here anymore. So I'm just going to pull it open. But does that make sense? You can easily change those statuses right there without even opening the job record. It takes a second to do that. So those lists are really helpful when you guys are reviewing a large amount of jobs. So here's this job. We'll open it again, and you can see I've updated to close. It is now filled, which is great. We have our 2 openings. Let's keep this job open though. So let's make another copy. All those placements are going to be fine. Nothing's going to happen to them. They're going to remain approved. We have our new job record. It's not filled. We want to accept candidates. Let's up the opening to 10. And let's do the start date to today. Okay, those are the main things I need to look at. I think everything else should stay the same. So we're good. You hit save. Now you have your new job record. Okay. So by no means are we telling you guys not to have open jobs. We absolutely want you guys to have open jobs. We want you to fill those jobs. We just want to clean up the job records in Bullhorn, and that is what this report does. So once again, the age column is the first criteria you look at. If it's blue, it should be closed. Then the placements, if it's filled, it will be blue. If it's not filled, you can see this one has 0 placements, but it has 6 openings. So it's green. So that's good. So that's how you determine which ones you close. Now, there's a little bit extra columns over here. And this is just so you can see, okay, we have jobs that are greater than 90 days old. You have 2 of them because you can see, yes, this job is greater than 90 days old. Yes, this job is greater than 90 days old. My report counts those yeses. So you have 2. You also have this filled column. You have 2 jobs, 2 yeses here. So the 2 is right here. And that indicates that you have 2 total jobs out of all your jobs that are filled. So you need to close 2 jobs based on that. This VID, WCC missing, that is Venture ID, workers comp code missing. Now, this column is kind of special because what it indicates, and you can see up here, these actions, update job records with data for no data fields. This is where I'm talking about this. The problem with these that are missing VID or WCC codes is it's going to cause payroll issues when we upload that information into Venture. So we need that information. So right here, here's a good one. This job, not only is it over the 90 days old criteria, it's also filled, and the workers comp code, there is no data. What this means is if I go to this job record, 5708 in Bullhorn, and I search for it, well, that's not good. I'm assuming because this person is no longer with us, their job record is hidden. So let's do a different one really quickly. Sorry. Where did that go? Let's do, those people are both gone. So we need to clean up some other things. Let's see. Looks like you and Manny have filled out all this information. So, but what you would do, and just so I can show you, is it's going to cut out, is you would go to that job, edit, workers comp code, and you'd fill it with the workers comp code, wherever that is down